Gambling has a way of just making everything a little bit more interesting. I'm not only talking about the odd game of poker or blackjack either. Like personally, I'm not the biggest sports fan, but if I got a little something riding on the game, maybe I can be. Same goes for politics. I mean, who hasn't made a buck or two betting on the elections? And when it's stuff you actually do like already, forget about it. Like say, the TV show Breaking Bad. And you know what? Money gets boring sometimes. What if, instead of gambling with money, you gambled with piss? For today's episode of Tales from the Internet, let's take a look at the guy who drank his own pee because of Breaking Bad. This video is sponsored by Helix. Helix makes premium mattresses and bedding, custom fit to your needs and shipped free right to your door. Everyone sleeps differently, so Helix has you take a sleep quiz to match your body type and sleep preferences. I'm a side sleeper, so Helix set me up with a Sunset mattress. Recently, I got a new bed that required a box spring. However, I learned that foam mattresses like Helix are better without a box spring, so instead, they sent me the Helix frame and Helix foundation to put my bed on. The setup was super fast and easy by myself, and getting a new mattress gave me the chance to try Helix's Glaciotex cooling cover upgrade. I was already having great sleep with my old Helix mattress, and as someone who prefers to be cool when I sleep, the Glaciotex has made it so much better. And to make sure that you like the bed too, Helix has a 100 nights of sleep trial. There's also financing options and flexible payment plans, so you don't have to pay all at once. Right now until June 4th, Helix is having a Memorial Day sale. So right now is the best time to upgrade your mattress. You can get 25% off your purchase for a limited time. Just click on the link below or go to helixsleep.com/wang. Now, before I get into the actual story, there's a bit of background I have to explain from Breaking Bad. So if you haven't seen the show yet, the spoilers ahead. The fourth season focuses on the power struggle between Walt and Gus Fring. It becomes a dangerous game as Walt fights to survive. Jesse is given the task of poisoning their boss using a ricin-filled cigarette, yet he hesitates when Gus shows favoritism towards him. This causes a rift between the previously loyal partners. And with his closest ally gone, everything seems hopeless. But then, Jesse's girlfriend calls him in a panic. Her son, Brock, has been hospitalized with a serious illness. Jesse realizes that the ricin cigarette is missing. He suspects that Walt is behind this and confronts him at gunpoint. However, Walt convinces Jesse of his innocence. He then claims that Gus is the one who framed him for this exact situation. They then conspire together to eliminate the ruthless kingpin. This is where viewers were left to hang when the episode End Times aired on October 2nd, 2011. And with a single episode left in the season, there was fervent debate over what would happen next. The most heated debate centered around whether or not Walt actually did poison Brock. That was the case with the thread posted to the Breaking Bad subreddit. After rewatching episode 12, I am convinced that Walt poisoned Brock. The OP points out several scenes, including one in which Walt stares at a poisonous plant. While most just discussed the actual theory, a post from a user named Paging Craig stood out. If Walt did it, I'll drink my own piss. Immediately, people took him up on this offer. Can I hold you to this? This will be brought up again if you don't. Now, it wouldn't be right without fair stakes. Thankfully, a user named Frank Reynolds stepped up to the bat. This meant that either way, someone was drinking piss. Shortly after, a thread was created to discuss the competition, and they attempted to ensure that the outcome couldn't be faked. There will be urine consumption. I vote that whoever loses must post a video. In said video, you will pee into a cup of sorts and drink it all in one take. No cuts in between. I love the internet. The problem is, you can use apple juice or something similar and we would be none the wiser. What if he uses a fake dick? Test the pH levels. It's unclear if Craig knew his declaration would be taken so seriously, but the pressure mounted as the moderators backed the bet. The subreddit is going to require a video of your comeuppance, should you be proven wrong. Another commented, I will go on record saying that the r/Breaking Bad mods fully support this ridiculous contest. This affirmed that if they didn't follow through, they would be banned. Of course, that didn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things. Realistically, if one of them backed out and got banned, they could just make a new account to post on, and in any case, nobody would really remember in a week or so. Yet the two parties were insistent on their wager. Frank replied that he was a man of his word. However, he stipulated that his man bits wouldn't be seen as he had learned that lesson already. Which I feel like that's kind of a lesson you can only learn once. Because past that, everyone's just like, dick is old news, buddy, nobody cares anymore. In any case, this sparked some controversy as people felt that they couldn't be sure unless his genitals were in the frame. How will people be sure it's actual pee and not one of those urinator systems with the clamp and the tube hidden? In response, a user questioned if they'd feel differently if one of them were a girl. They then suggested they turn their back just enough to see both the stream and the cup, and these questions led them to follow Craig into other subreddits. He was asked about specifics in a completely different community. Hey, are you going to actually piss into a cup then drink it on video? So we're going to see the production of urine and the drinking part? You don't think you're going to vomit after doing it, or that the video will go viral? He replied bluntly, I don't know. It depends on what happens on Sunday. Later he clarified that he'd pee into the glass on camera. Strangely enough, all this attention led to a third person to join in. I am willing to drink my own piss if Walt didn't do it as well. Screen cap away, gentlemen. It won't be an epic switch like Hale did either. He pointed to his history of following up on bets on Reddit. When the Pats scored 34 against the Colts, he posted a picture of himself in drag. Honestly, considering that we already had two sides of the bet accounted for, I feel like this guy just wanted an excuse to drink his pee in public. But now with 3 different individuals offering to ingest urine for the cause, the stakes were rising. There was a concern they could get out of it using semantics. The loser is going to pull a semantic out, like Walt didn't actually do it, Saul did it on Walt's order, or he poisoned him with ricin, not the plant claimed in the post. Frank disputed this by broadening the terms right then and there, but most just continued to debate Walt's innocence. It's honestly kind of interesting to look back on what they thought at the time. I honestly do not think Walt did it. It's one of the more ridiculous fad conspiracy theories. The community was restless, waiting anxiously for answers, and they remained on edge until October 9th, when the finale finally aired. Needless to say, it didn't disappoint. Face Off remains the 3rd highest rated episode of the series to this day. The only 2 above it wouldn't air until a year later. It delivered an intense season-long build-up while executing an iconic villain and perhaps one of the most memorable deaths we'd ever seen on TV before. And in spite of how reprehensible Walt had become, it made you root for him. Yet, as viewers celebrated his victory, the show hit them with a curveball. The final shot cuts to his backyard as the camera slowly pans left. This reveals a lily of the valley plant, which Walt used to poison Brock. Upon this revelation, the subreddit was quickly filled with posts about the bet. They were eager to see if Craig would deliver. The moderator even sent him a message to be read after the finale. Hello, Paging Craig. This is awkward. We need you to up your fluid intake and get your video camera ready. In order to keep your word, you'll be drinking your piss for the enjoyment of strangers on the internet. Bet you didn't see that coming when you thought about what you'd be doing with your life a few years back. Please message the mods and let us know whether you'll be planning on keeping up your side of the bet. We'll move on from there. Hey, at least you'll be internet famous, right? This flood upset a lot of people because it was tied to such an important plot point. The outcome was an immediate spoiler for anyone familiar with the bet. Now, I don't know about you, but if I was trying to avoid spoilers for a TV show that I hadn't watched yet, I would simply not browse the subreddit until I saw it. In any case, I'm willing to bet that whoever was mad about it got over it pretty quickly, given that they weren't expected to chase it with urine. An hour later, Craig returned with an update. He decided to edit his original comment instead of making a new post in order to minimize spoilers. And he would, in fact, deliver. Edit. So as not to spoil anything for anyone on the subreddit, did I have to drink my own piss? Well, since I can't get spoilers to work, I assume people who come here know the outcome. Yes, I did. And Walt is a bastard, lol. Time to eat crow and drink my own piss. Tasted worse than I expected. He then included a link to the video. It's clear that, regardless of losing, he was distraught by the news. The account was named Walt Harms Kids, and the video, Walt is evil, better drink my own piss. It's only a minute long, but I'm not sure if YouTube will let me play the entire thing. The footage begins with Craig showing off a cup. He places it in the middle of his bathtub to minimize spillage, then he starts to pee. It's pretty messy though, I can't tell if he has bad aim or did that on purpose. Maybe he decided he'd poured himself enough. As the stream tapers, Craig bends over and picks up the urine-filled glass. He reflects on his prediction, admitting that he was 100% wrong. Finally, after showing it to the camera one last time, he downs it all in one shot. The community erupted as truly no one knew that he'd actually do it. It was a mixture of both shock and praise that he actually kept his word. But most of all, they were just concerned with how yellow it was. You need to drink more water, son. His piss is yellower than Tuco's pre-Walt meth. Ugh. It got to the point that Craig had to explain himself. I drank like a quarter gallon all day to make it dark, so people wouldn't think I just put water in a glass somehow. I mean, props to him. He decided to make the act even nastier just to dispel any doubt. His original comment went on to collect over 1,600 upvotes, and the story eventually escapes the community, being shared on r/bestof. A lot of people seeing it claimed that they were too grossed out to even watch it, while one claimed that they did watch it and vomited. Inevitably, there were accusations of it being fake, despite his best efforts to prove otherwise. I'm not buying it, and I'm surprised people are so quick to believe this video. Nothing like a little yellow Kool-Aid in a squeeze bottle to make the trick complete. But easily, the most insane is this in-depth analysis of the flow of his urine. Of course it's fake. The way he pees is totally unrealistic. It's just full strength without starting weak and building up. Then when he's done, there's no finishing off squirts, which are always required. Who pisses in one single uniform squirt? Lastly, unless he hasn't drunk liquids in 3 days, that shit ain't piss. These weren't popular opinions, but I couldn't not throw in the piss CSI. Paging Craig remained active for the next 4 years, and sometime after, he deleted the account entirely. This could have been out of shame, although the actual video remains up to this day. While it's unclear what he's up to these days, his legacy in the community remains. In 2012, the subreddit held a charity event called Breaking Good. It raised money for A Place Called Home to educate children in LA about gang violence and drug abuse. The organization was chosen by Luis Moncada, one of the Salamanca twins. To encourage donations, a moderator promised to film a sequel to Craig's video. For 9 more days, we are still accepting donations for the Breaking Good event. We are currently at $2,808.43, and if we can reach 3,000, I will pull a Paging Craig and film myself drinking my own piss. No joke. The campaign managed to exceed this amount in the final 2 days, and Edify was forced to follow through. Unfortunately, this video is no longer available and there doesn't seem to be archives, so it's impossible for me to independently verify this footage. But judging from reactions, it seems like he also wasn't drinking enough water. It's kinda crazy that there's not 1, but 2 documented cases of people drinking their own pee over Breaking Bad, and 4 people in total eager enough to step forward as volunteers. But it's almost admirable in a way. Not the act itself, but the fact that they'd actually commit to it. No one could have forced Craig if he refused. It's a real show of character that ultimately led to support for a good cause. And that's the story of the Breaking Bad fans who drank their own pee. If you like this video, check out my video about another infamous Reddit bet. I'm out.